there are many different tools used for hair cutting. So, how do you choose the right tool for the job? Our learning objective will be to explain the uses of the various tools of hair cutting. Becoming familiar with, and comfortable using, the wide array of hair cutting tools will help you distinguish which tool you should use to create various effects in the haircut. Let's take a look. The first tool we will cover is shears. Shears, also known as scissors, are used to cut blunt, hard, straight lines in the hair. Let's take a moment to learn more about shears. Shears can be made by one of two processes. The first process in which shears are manufactured is known as forging. A forged shear is made by a process of working metal into a finished shape by hammering or pressing. The metal used in the forging process has been heated to temperatures between 2100 and 2300 degrees Fahrenheit. This process makes the metal much denser and harder, thus making them more durable.
次に親指が入る方の柄の軸を出します。親指の入る部分はタガネで打ち抜き、飛び口を使って広げていきます。
As you can see, this process is very labor-intensive. It is because of how intense this process is, and how strong and durable shears manufactured in this manner are. Forged shears are significantly more expensive. Shears can also be manufactured in a process known as casting. Casting is a process where the metal is melted down into a liquid form, and then poured into a mold, similar to an ice tray, or candy mold. Another method that is like a combination of the two is what is known as cold stamping. How your shears are manufactured make a difference in the quality, durability, and price of your shears.
Stylists use thinning shears to layer a cut from the inside. This removes bulk to give hair height. When it comes to improving your hairdo, thinning shears definitely have the teeth for the job. They start with stainless steel rods. The rods ride a magnetized conveyor up to an induction heater. It heats each rod from the ends until it becomes white hot and soft. The rod is now ready for forging. A worker moves the hot rod back and forth over a die as a hammer slams into it. This flattens and forms it into the shape of two scissor blades. The forging leaves a lot of excess steel around the blades. They cut away that excess. Reheated now, a worker plunges the blades into a lead bath. Then he dips them in oil, standing back as they flame up. The lead bath and the quick cool down harden the steel. Another worker then clamps a blade into position. A cutting wheel rolls into action and carves a comb profile into the blade. A constant flow of water-based coolant keeps the temperature of the cutting wheel and the scissor part down. Otherwise, the cutting process could cause them both to overheat and compromise their strength and integrity. This is the thinning scissor blade before cutting, and this is the blade with its new teeth. At the next workstation, a robot transfers a blade to an automated grinding machine. The machine grinds both the front and sides of the teeth to smooth the rough edges. This robotic system processes up to 150 scissor blades an hour. Next, it's into a tumbler filled with synthetic pebbles. As the thinning blades bounce around, friction happens. This smooths more rough edges, especially the handles and finger rings that didn't undergo grinding at the robot station. After about 4 hours, a magnetic conveyor retrieves them. Then the midsection, where the two blades are to be joined, receives hands-on attention as a worker smooths it using a fine abrasive sanding belt. They move on to the straight scissor blade. An employee hones it against a horizontal grinding wheel. This aligns the cutting edge. He inserts the threaded screws and holes in a straight-edged blade and in the corresponding comb-like blade. He brings the two together and then tightens the screws to a specific torque. Too tight or too loose, and these thinning shears won't operate smoothly. With an emery board, he gently files the shears to get rid of lingering dust from the extensive grinding. He now tests their function. It isn't entirely smooth, so he hammers a section of the comb blade to level it. It now moves more freely against the straight blade. And now the ultimate test. He tries them out on a lock of artificial hair, and he confirms that these thinning shears are as sharp as they look.
Now that we understand the various ways in which shears are made, let's take a closer look at the various components of the shear. You will be expected to know each of the different parts of the shear, and their purpose. Shears are comprised of two blades, with holes at the backside for gripping. Each blade has a name and a purpose. We begin with the still blade. The hole in the still blade is where you will hold the shear with your ring finger. This hole is known as the finger grip. Do not use your middle finger in this grip. Doing so will cause distress on your hands and wrist, and can negatively affect your haircut. The still blade's purpose is for balance and guidance. There is a metal tail that extends off of the backside of the finger grip of the still blade. The tail is called a tang. The tang is a finger rest for the pinky finger, therefore it is also known as a pinky rest. The moving blade is the blade of the shear that actually performs the cutting. The thumb grip is the hole at the backside of the moving blade. The moving blade is controlled with the thumb. Your shears are not Pac-Man, trying to gobble up every pellet he passes. Meaning, you should not force your thumb and fingers together to meet in the middle. When cutting, only the thumb should be moving. The thumb moves inward to close the shear, and outward to open the shear. Clamping your thumb and fingers closed simultaneously can cause various effects, none of which are good for the hair. Things like folding, breaking, and stretching of the hair are all negative effects of manipulating shears incorrectly. Extended from either the thumb grip or the finger grip is a rubber stopper. This stopper is known as a bumper, and is there to prevent the shears from overextension while closing. The shears are held together with an adjustment knob, or tension screw. Shears should be cared for and maintained properly, to ensure that you are reaping the greatest benefits of your tool's capabilities. Tension adjustment is one of the most common shear maintenance routines. The tension adjustment screw not only hold the shears together, but is also used to tighten or loosen the shears as needed. Over time, the screw can untwist with frequent use, and the blades can become loose. By adjusting this knob, you can pull the blades closer together to tighten them back up. Sometimes after our shears have been serviced, the blades may have been tightened too much. You can use the adjustment knob to loosen your shears as needed.
Adjusting screw found in beauty shears today. The reason it's so popular is it's easy to adjust and it holds the adjustment well. Let me show you how it works. So if you turn it left and you loosen the shear, it's going to flop all the way down. You'll think the shears are dull, and you'll feel the blade, and you'll say, oh, they feel sharp, but why aren't they not cutting? It's because you have a loose screw. I would say 50% or more of hairstylists have loose screws on their shears. It's very easy to correct it. Righty-tighty. I'm turning it to the right. Turn it a notch at a time and check it. Still loose. Another notch, then check it. I'm going to turn it 2 that time. Now you see it's tightened up a little bit. But that's still not where I want it to be. That's too tight. You see it's not moving? I want it somewhere in the middle. One more notch. Sometimes it's hard to get just the right adjustment. When you've got it where you think it is, I want you to take the 2 handles with the blade completely open. If it's closed part way, you're going to nick your blades. So you want the blade completely open and wiggle your handles. I'm doing this kind of motion and this kind of motion. So I'm wiggling the handles to kind of set the washers in place. And then when I drop it, see it moves a little bit. And that's about the correct adjustment. That might be you could have a little tighter than that, but I don't think I would have my shears any looser than this. And that's going to allows the shear to cut the hair without folding it and the least effort for your hand. And it's the best adjustment for the blades of your shears.
Your shears should be wiped clean and disinfected after each use. To disinfect shears, use an EPA-approved spray disinfectant, such as Clippercide. Shears should be lubricated about once a day, to reduce friction and extend the life of the shear. Have your shears sharpened only as necessary. Some shears have warranties that prohibit them from being sharpened by just any sharpening vendor that may service your area. When you are ready to invest in a quality set of shears, here is a checklist of things to look for. How are they manufactured? What quality is the steel? What type of edge does the blade have? Is the handle design a comfortable fit for you? Are there any service agreements or warranties that are included with the purchase? Ensure that the investment you make is the best one for you and your budget. You will want to confirm that any shear you purchase is properly fitted for you, to ensure maximum performance, comfort, and control. Properly fitted shears allow for reducing the amount of pressure on your thumb, and less effort in the cutting process. To fit a shear properly, here are a few key aspects to keep in mind. First, fit the ring finger. The ring of the finger grip should rest comfortably between the first and second knuckles of the ring finger. Your finger should fill the hole almost to capacity, meaning there should be little to no excess room between the ring finger and the inner rim of the finger grip hole. The thumb should fill the thumb grip almost to capacity as well, only resting between the first knuckle and the eponychium, or the skin at the base of the fingernail. If you have small fingers, and they do not fill the finger grips to capacity, then you should also use grip sizing, rubber inserts, to minimize the diameter of the finger grip, in order to properly fit your size. Properly holding your shears is important, so as to reduce stress, muscle fatigue, and tension on your body. Picking up, and laying down, your shears and combs, constantly puts additional stress on your body, as well as, wastes time. You will need to learn how to palm your shears, to reduce stress and save time. The proper way to palm your shears is to place your ring finger in the finger grip of the still blade, with your pinky rested on the tang. Close the blades with your thumb. Remove your thumb from the thumb grip, and fold the handle of the shears into the palm of your hand. In this position, your index finger and thumb are now free, in order to hold the comb. With your shears palmed, you can hold the comb in your dominant hand along with your shears, in order to part off and comb a section of hair, in preparation of cutting. After combing the section, and, while holding the section in place, move the comb from the dominant hand to the non-dominant hand, so that it is out of your way while cutting that section. After the comb has been transferred to the non-dominant hand, open your palm, and place your thumb back into the thumb grip, to cut the section of hair. In haircutting, both sides of the comb are used continuously throughout the haircut. The wide teeth of the comb are used for parting off sections and subsections. The fine teeth are for combing and applying tension to the hair, in preparation of cutting. you should practice rotating and transferring the comb in your hand, until you are comfortable manipulating the tools in your hand continuously. The amount of pressure applied to the hair while combing, and holding a subsection, is called tension. Tension can be described as stretching or pulling on the hair. Tension ranges from minimum to maximum. Tension is controlled by holding the subsections between the index and middle fingers, from the second knuckle to the fingertips. Tension should remain consistent, to ensure even results in your haircut. Use maximum tension on straight hair, when you desire precise lines in your haircut. Use minimal tension, when working with curly hair, to compensate for shrinkage. When working with your razor, many of the handling concerns are similar to those of using shears. Palming your tools, transferring of the comb, and combing sections, all work in much the same manner. Open the razor to form a straight line. Place your thumb on the grip, and your fingers on the handle, as pictured, for cutting the hair. When you are not cutting a section, your razor should be palmed. To palm your razor, fold the handle of the razor into your palm, just as you would your shears. With your razor palmed, you can again hold your comb between your thumb and index fingers, in which to comb the next section of hair.